Imagine two brothers born in the same family, speaking the same language, sharing the same traditions, but growing up to live in two completely different worlds. One becomes wealthy, democratic, and globally connected. The other becomes secretive, authoritarian, and isolated. That's the story of North and South Korea. But how did one nation with thousands of years of shared history end up divided into two very different countries? Today, we're going to explore the entire story, from ancient dynasties to colonial rule, Cold War politics, and the division that still shapes global affairs today. Stay tuned, because this is not just history. It's a story that continues to affect millions of lives right now. For most of history, Korea was a single, unified cultural space. Over 2,000 years ago, kingdoms like Goguryeo, Baekje, and Sia ruled parts of the peninsula. Eventually, the Goryeo dynasty, yes, the name Korea comes from this, unified much of the land. For centuries, Korea was known as the Hermit Kingdom, not because people were antisocial, but because the peninsula was fiercely independent, resisting outside influence and protecting its unique culture, language, and traditions. Think of it like a well-kept garden, walled off from the outside, carefully tended for generations. That garden was the Korean peninsula. But by the 1800s, the walls around that garden started to crack. Western powers and neighboring Japan began eyeing Korea. Japan, modernizing rapidly, saw Korea as strategically vital, a bridge to mainland Asia. In 1910, after years of growing influence, Japan officially annexed Korea. What followed was 35 years of colonial rule. Harsh policies aimed at erasing Korean culture, forcing people to adopt Japanese names, and exploiting resources for Japan's empire. This was a painful period, but it also planted seeds of resistance and nationalism among Koreans on both the northern and southern parts of the peninsula. Fast forward to 1945, Japan loses World War II. Korea, after decades of colonial rule, is finally free. But here's where the story takes a twist. The Allies couldn't agree on who should take control of Korea after Japan's surrender. So, in a rush decision, they split the peninsula along the 38th parallel. The Soviet Union occupied the north, while the United States occupied the south. What was meant to be temporary became permanent. By 1948, the divide solidified. In the north, backed by the Soviets, Kim Il-sung established the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, a communist state. In the south, supported by the U.S., Syngman Rhee became the first president of the Republic of Korea. At this point, both leaders claimed to be the true ruler of all Korea. This tension exploded into one of the bloodiest conflicts of the 20th century. In 1950, North Korea invaded the South, aiming to unify the peninsula under communism. The Korean War had begun. It wasn't just a local conflict, it became a Cold War battleground. The United States, alongside United Nations forces, defended South Korea. China entered on the side of the North. For 3 brutal years, the war raged, with millions of civilians caught in the crossfire. By 1953, an armistice was signed, but not a peace treaty. The fighting stopped, but technically, the war never ended. The peninsula was left divided, with a heavily fortified, demilitarized zone DMZ in between. From here, the two Koreas went down drastically different paths. In the south, after years of dictatorship, democracy eventually took hold in the late 20th century. Economic reforms and global trade transformed South Korea into a modern powerhouse, the land of K-pop, Samsung, and the world's 10th largest economy. Meanwhile, in the north, Kim Il-sung built a system around himself, creating a dynasty that still rules today. The government emphasized self-reliance, or juche, But in practice, it led to isolation, economic struggles, and strict control over every aspect of life. So two brothers, same roots, but one ends up building skyscrapers and streaming BTS on smartphones, while the other lives under portraits of the same ruling family for 3 generations. Today, North and South Korea remain technically at war. The DMZ is one of the most militarized borders in the world. Families remain divided, unable to cross. Yet, despite the stark differences, the dream of reunification still exists for many Koreans. But politics, ideology, and global power struggles keep that dream complicated and uncertain. The story of the two Koreas is a story of resilience, division, and identity. From a once unified people to two very different nations, the Korean Peninsula shows us how history, war, and politics can shape destinies in ways that last for generations. So next time you see South Korea trending for K-dramas or hear about North Korea in the news, remember, they're two halves of the same story, a story that's still being written. If you found this breakdown interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment on what part of Korean history surprised you the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.